Real Madrid forward Vinicius Jr has accused Spain of being a racist country. So after he faced yet more abuse while he was playing in La Liga. Madrid's 1-0 loss at Valencia, it was halted for 10 minutes. This was around half-time after he told the referee the home supporters had been racially abusing him. He was actually sent off in that game. This was in added time. It's his first red card. He got embroiled in what looked like a little bit of a brawl, players coming together.
It looked really heated, actually, didn't it?
Yeah. Now, addressing the racist abuse after the game, Vinicius accused the Spanish FA and rival teams of encouraging racism and said that Spain is now known in his homeland of Brazil as a country of racists. Let's read you the full statement of what he said. This is what he put on social media, Vinicius Jr. It wasn't the first time, not the second time, not the third. Racism is normal in La Liga. The competition is normal. The federation, also the opponents encourage. I'm sorry. The championship that was once Ronaldinho, Ronaldo, Cristiano and Messi, today is the racists. A beautiful nation which welcomed me and whom I love, but which accepted to export the image to the world of a racist country. I am sorry for the Spaniards who do not agree, but today in Brazil, Spain is known as a country of racists. And unfortunately, for everything that happens each week, I have no way to defend. I agree, but I am strong and I will go all the way against the racists, even if far from here. So his manager afterwards in the press conference, the journalist tried to speak to him about the game and he was like, do not talk to me about the game. This isn't about football today. He said, I don't want to talk about football today. There is no meaning in talking about football. What we saw today is unacceptable. An entire stadium chanting racist slurs. I told the referee that he should have stopped the match. I want to get a lot more on this and explain if anybody didn't see the game or hasn't seen what's happened or understand the seriousness of this. We have European football expert Kevin Hatchard joining us now. Kevin, firstly, thank you so much for coming on this morning.
Good morning, Kevin.
Morning, guys.
If you could just sum up that there was chaos at times in this game between the players, but the fans chanting racist abuse at Vinicius Jr, who is 22 years old, and I just keep thinking, I don't think we can forget his age here, because at 22 years of age, I don't think I knew how to deal with most things in the world, let alone feeling like now, reading a statement, feeling like a whole country is against him for the colour of his skin.
He is as strong an individual as there is in football, I believe, and I've said this for a long time. I think if you look at the body of incidents, this is the latest in a long, long line of incidents. You go back to an incident with Atletico Madrid fans. There was an effigy of him hung up. He had chanting against him in the stadium. And when that incident was referred to a Madrid court, the verdict was that, yes, it wasn't good, but within the context of football rivalry, it has to be placed in that context. And so if even the courts are saying, well, it's kind of understandable in football, it's all part of the banter, where do you go from there? So Javier Tebas, who's the head of La Liga, he stepped in yesterday very clumsily, I thought, because what he did was, instead of starting by saying, look, this is completely unacceptable, he had a go at Vinicius for not working with La Liga to stop this. And that was completely the wrong approach. La Liga have referred these incidents. There's a whole long list of them against Vinicius, and they have referred them. And there's only so far La Liga can go in some ways. But to basically attack Vinicius for speaking out was outrageous and really, really clumsy. And so it is remarkable the sheer scale of the abuse he's received. And what really crystallized it, of course, was what happened at the end of the game. Because if you look at the footage, Hugo Duro, who is the guy who he then lashes out at, had him in a headlock moments before. And so Hugo Duro doesn't get any kind of admonishment or any kind of punishment. And yet Vinicius is the one who gets sent off. So it just adds to this whole feeling that it is just a dreadful look for the country. It's a dreadful look for the league, and it's a dreadful look for football. And I thought it was really significant, the end of that statement you guys read out, because he says, I am in against it, against racists to the end, even if far from here. there's going to come a point where he's going to go, I don't need this. I'm going to go somewhere else where the scale of this is not going to be anywhere as big.
Do you know what I couldn't believe, Kev? I mean, the whole statement, the whole sad story is absolutely ridiculous. Now, the statement that I just couldn't believe when he said the Spanish FA and rival teams are encouraging racism. I thought that was unbelievable.
Well, I think what he means is, by their inaction, they're effectively saying to the racists,
okay.
This is fine. This is fine. You carry on. We're not going to punish you. We're not going to do anything. And there comes a point where it feels like, I mean, I tweeted yesterday, and I still believe this, there comes a point where Real Madrid are iconic. They're as powerful as it gets as an institution in Spain in terms of sport. Walk off, say, right, do you know what? We're not playing anymore. We're going. And then it's down to the authorities to do something, because that in some ways was the perfect time to do it. Real Madrid aren't going to win the league. That's gone. There's no real value to the points. And that would have been a moment to say, do you know what? We've had enough.
Yeah.
And go off on block and say, this is the end of the game for us. If we forfeit it, fine, but we're standing by our guy. And that's not me saying they're not standing by him. Of course they are. And they have, that they are very strong teammates in that regard. And they've spoken up for him on numerous occasions. But look, I think you have to go. I think as a group of players, you have to go. You have to make a statement, because something's got to give here. Because a young man who, for me, and this shouldn't matter, but he is one of the best players on the planet. Let's make no bones about that. He is one of the best players on the planet. It wouldn't matter if he was one of the weakest. We should still be as angry about this and still act. But you've got a guy who should be the face of La Liga. He should be a player that the league and the country say, wow, this guy's playing in our country, in our league. We should do everything we can to promote him, to support him. And it feels like the opposite. It feels like not enough, not remotely enough is being done.
Kevin, it feels like he specifically is being singled out, not protecting. It feels like football is failing him. It feels like La Liga is failing, not only him actually, but black football players of the future, the present, black football players of the past as well, because they are essentially saying this isn't as important as the establishment, and you cannot do that.
Yeah, and look, this is a wider problem, of course, as well. And there was an appearance by the president of the Agents Association on El Chiringuito, which is, I'm sure you've seen it. It's like a popular football show in Spain, and they kind of, have a lot of controversial content, what have you. But they spoke about an incident. They spoke about Vinicius dancing, and this was a long time ago. This is a while ago now, and he said Vinicius should stop playing the monkey. That was what he said on this show. And it was later clarified and withdrawn. But at the time, he said he should stop playing the monkey. And what that encapsulates is this whole attitude that don't provoke people, don't dance, don't wind up fans. And it's this apologism for racism, which is really galling, because you will see this whataboutery in a lot of things. And this isn't just about football. This is about our attitude to racism in general, that as soon as you start saying, well, they were asking for it, well, you shouldn't celebrate like that, well, you shouldn't do this. No, none of that has to be borne in mind. If a player is subject to racist abuse, it doesn't matter what they've done. They need to be supported. And I still think that is a deep-rooted thing, not just in football, but in society, that people will always look for a reason why instead of turning their fire on the racists.
Yeah, you can completely understand why he feels like it's being encouraged when you've got people like that in the media who are going to perpetuate it, and authorities turning a blind eye to it. It is despicable. Thank you for coming on and talking to us, Kevin. Appreciate it.
Cheers, guys.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Laura Woods, Monday to Wednesday morning 6 till 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.